Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, sir. Today, I will explain about my assignment, my final assignment from class cultural. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, sir. Today, I wanna explain about my final assignment from cultural understanding class. My assignment is to explain about Native American, the Amish community, and the Moai tribe. The first one I will explain is Native American. Okay. 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 The first I want to tell is the Native American story is made is utterly complex by the diverse geographic and the cultural background of the people involved, and you would expect in this America, farmer living in starved society that is not just and engaged with urban rivalry that did those who relied on hunting and fishing and gathering such the Apache. Do you know who were the first people to live in America? Many people think that it's Christopher Columbus and his crew. Other think it was the European settler or the people that came to live here from Europe, but it was actually the Native American. Native means they what they came they were born in America. Though it wasn't called America at the time. This was long before it became the United States. They were much earlier than Columbus. When Columbus discovered America and its people, he named the people Indians because he thought he was in India. Because yeah, his plan is to go to India from other side, not from the usual route that he go. You may have heard the other people call them Indians too. Actually the correct way to from how we are referred to them is Native American. The Native American live in both and in the North and the South American, including Alaska and Hawaii. There were different tribes and culture who live in different parts of the country. A tribe usually consisted of family or community that spoke the same language and had common belief. They also shared the same costume or tradition. Some well-known tribes include the Cherokees, the Apache, the Cheyenne, and the Iroquois, the Ute Nation, and Navajo Nation, and there are many other tribes as well. Actually, each tribe has its own type of home food. They ate tools and clothing and more. The tribe they are no different than people across the world today, who have their own culture and custom. Most historians believe the tribe were quite peaceful before the arrival of Columbus and other Europeans. And next, the Native American actually designed their home according to the weather and area where they live. For the example, a teepee was built as a long poles for the frame or structure, then wrapped with buffalo hide to protect them and keep them warm. The TP could easily be taken down and put back up again, making it to perfect house for people like to move around and gathering, go to some place to other place. The next is Wickman was about 5 to maybe 6 meters tall. Like the tepi is also made from wooden frame. This frame were covered with a sheet of bark from a bridge tree. Wickman is a longhouse, was a permanent home. Like the tepi, it was not moved from place to place. It was built from wood and bark, and for the people to stay in that one place. And the next is Pueblo. The Pueblo was a home built right into the side of a cliff, which is why it was called a cliff dwelling. These homes were built of a brick made of from clay that sometimes built instead inside of or inside of a cave, and this the other type of Native American home as Wandle and Daub house, an igloo, a plank house, and igloo. Materials to build home depend on where the tribe live and what available to use. Like example, this in the picture is an igloo is type of home in the upper side, like in Alaska and North Pole. The clothing of the Native American were also different from tribe to tribe. If an area where Native American life was so warm, like Texas or Arizona or California, is lesson of clothing like in this picture because of the heat in contact. It was a cold area like Alaska. The clothing was layered for a warm common material for clothing. Like this is from fur actually. The common material for clothing from Indian tribe was animal skin, and the soft leather of the animal hide was used for shoe as well. Many tribes hunted buffalo or caribou for food, as well as deer, rabbit. Fishing was widely used to provide food for villages that were close to river or streams. Spear and net and fish trap were made to catch the fish like this. In the cold region, and like in Alaska and Canada, ice fishing was common. Built like make a small hole was cut into the ice, and long spear were used to catch the fish. And the farming is important to the tribe too, um, especially in the warmer climate. Sometimes tribes like Navajo and Pueblo. The tribes like Iroquois, Lute Nation were famous for sun painting, and Native American also had tradition which include ceremony, religion, and other ceremony story, music, dancing, games, and sport were enjoyed like people around the world. And the Native American live and work and play based on their belief and custom. Native America still lives through the United States, Canada, and other nations in South America. The next is I will talk about the contemporary Native American issue. In the United States alone, there are issues arising in the late 2000th century and early 21st century, which affect Native American in the United States itself. Many issues stem from the subjugation of Native American society, including society discrimination, racism, cultural appropriation, drug sport, mascot, and depiction in art. Native Americans have also been subject to substantial historical and intergenerational trauma that have resulted in significant public health issues like alcohol use disorder and many rates of suicide. Societal discrimination and racism in Native American tribe in study conducted in 2006 and 2007. Non-Native American admit they rarely encounter Native American in their daily life, while sympathetic toward Native American and expressing regret over the past. About yeah, most people had only a vague understanding of the problem facing of the Native American today. For their part, Native American told researchers that they believe they continue to face prejudice, mistreatment, and inequality in the border of society in the United States alone. Native American society, language, and culture. Native American culture across the United States are notable for their wide variety and diversity of lifestyle, regalia, art form, and belief. The culture of the indigenous of North America is defined by the concept of pre-Columbian cultural area, namely a geographic region where said cultural trade occur. The Northwest cultural area, for example, had common traits as salmon fishing, woodworking, large villa or town, and hierarchical social structure. The next I will talk about is education. As of 2020, 19% of Native American school children attend public school operated by school district in the region generally. And to contract a shift to English, some of Native American tribes have initiated a language immersion school for children where an indigenous American language is the medium of the instructor. For the example, the Cherokee tribe initiated a 10-year language preservation plan to develop and raising new fluent speaker of the Cherokee language from childhood. This is for the preserve of their own language. The next is the Native American religion. Native American religion are the spiritual practice of indigenous people of North America. Several ways can vary widely and are based on the differing history and belief of individual nations, tribes, and bands. According to the early Erpin explorer, the American tribes having their own religious practices. Maybe theology, maybe monostatic, maybe polystatic, maybe henostatic, or animistic, or shamanistic, or pathistic, or any combination of all of that. Among others, traditional beliefs are usually passed down in the form of oral history and story called ariori and principle. There is, I will tell five major Native American religion is Lodge religion, Ghost Dance, Indian sacred religions, and Longhouse religion, and many other religions that we can count. The trauma, the trauma, the American native is the historical trauma that occurred when the European or the American United States government to expand on their territory. The example of historical trauma can be seen through the Wounded Knee Massacre of 1890, where over 200 unarmed Lakota were killed, and Dawes Allotment Act of 1897, when American Indians lost 4/5 of their land. In the past, the Indian is get a massive mistreatment and racism, and the US federal government take their land and move them to other place. That that's why that is become a trauma from the traumas can be affected in the modern world, something like this, through the communities of Indian American. Okay, that's the explanation about the Indian American tribe or American native or Indians. You can call it what you like. Bakwek or thank you in the Indian tribe language. The next I want to talk about is Amish community. A gentle people uh, living a simple life. the the first I want to talk about the story of Amish. The Amish is a group of traditional Christian church in the Swiss and German of Anabaptist origin. They are closely related to the Mennonite Church. The Amish are known for simple life, plain dress, and Christian patriotism and slowness to adopt of any modern technology. The Amish follow rural life and manual labor humility and Gleason height all under the auspice of living what they interpret to be the God's words. Kind of weird for Amish. Amish, Amish culture, Amish lifestyle is dedicated by the ordinal or the German meaning of order, which is differs slightly from community to community, and within a community from district to a district. Uh, Expected there are over 25 different Amish or Amunet and Lutheran church group in the United Southeast States, and there are different order from the community to community. What is acceptable in one community may be not be acceptable in another community, in Amish community. The question, who are the Amish? They are member of particular Christian denomination. They are best known for their simple living, plain dress, and for resisting modern technology. Amish community are usually entirely self-sufficient and deliberately separated from the outside of the world. The Amish way of life is originated in Switzerland, but, but this day exists only in the US, mainly Pennsylvania, and in some part of Canada. The language, in addition to English, most of older of Amish speak a distinctive German dialect called Pennsylvania German, or more or less commonly in the United States is common like Pennsylvania Dutch. There is like the mix of English and the Dutch language. Education: the Amish do not educate their children from the past of 8th grade. Within the basic knowledge over up to that point is sufficient to prepare one of the family for the Amish lifestyle. Almost no Amish going to high school, much less to college. In many communities, the Amish operate their own school, which are typically one room, two room school. It's like a schoolhouse teacher. Young unmarried woman from the Amish community teach the kid from the Amish community. This kid provide education in many craft, are therefore eligible as vocational education. Um, yes, it is equivalent to the 10th grade in the normal school in the United States. The next is the clothing style. The clothing style symbolic of their faith. Amish clothing style encourages humility and separation from the other world. The Amish dress is in a very simple style, avoiding all but the most basic ornamentation. Clothing is made at home of plain fabric and primarily dark color. Yeah. The men wear solid color shirt, broad brim hats, and suit that signified similarity amongst the another. So the call for men is actually is, yeah, quite same from man to man. There's no different. Maybe the different maybe from the color or the equipment. And for the woman will wear calf length plain cut dress in solid color apron, are often worn at home, usually in white, typically for unmarried, or purple or black. For the married is for the purple, black, or blue, and are always women were attending church. And they were usually using a cape, yep, like in the picture below. Uh, And the man's like, yeah, this is for the kids. The Amish church rules. The Amish church rule. There's many rules in the Amish community actually. The rules of Amish church is called Ordnungstad, or the in the English is order, are quite strict and must be obeyed at all. This rule covers most aspects of day of living. Those who do not follow the rules and will not repent for having done so can be excommunicated from the community or be expelled from the community. This rule include is now electricity. So the Amish they use gas or petrol gas, or what they say in Indonesia tabung gas. They use that for electricity or cook something like that. The limiting the use of phone, not owning or using motor vehicle like car or motorcycle, wearing a specific style of dress like I explained, not buying insurance, not receiving any form of government welfare. They do not take government welfare actually. Not serving in the military, marrying partner from their own community, only being school up until 8 years old, using corporal punishment to discipline their children, practicing manual labor mostly in the rural place, like in the remote place in Pennsylvania or Canada. What are the common myth about the Amish? Common misconception about the Amish is Amish don't pay tax. Well, this common misconception Amish do like pay all income, sales, property, and other local tax. Amish are however exempt from social security but do not collect from the program either. Amish subject to social security as an insurance system because Amish society take care of its age and infirm and thus have no need for government support like the rule that I explained before. Amish food is all organic. Amish think technology is evil. Amish don't consider technology is evil. Rather, they harbor concept over what unrealistic acceptance of all technology might lead to. Amish do in fact use a wide variety of technology, like I explained before, like gas tank. Amish men marry their sister. This is a myth. The Amish actually marry women from their community. Amish men can have two wives. Amish this myth like has root in confusing Amish with a group such as fundamentalist Mormon, the Christian, insular, and West Mormon also were as this is a actually this is not true. The Amish have only one way. Five. Amish rarely on barter. Actually, no. Amish use they use money too. Amish charge their own barter. I yes, they actually make their own barter. This is Amish don't use money. This has no basic in fact outside my imagine that the Amish barter good and not use money instrument, but Amish do in fact use money in the form of cash and of the if instrument of payment, typically check and SIM, or in some case like credit card. Okay, thank you. That is the last from the Amish community. The next I will explain is the Muay Thai. The history of the Moi tribe, according to the history told by the traditional elder, the civilization of the Moi tribe originate from the two forces, Tamrau and Malfadok. Tamrau is the strength for men, and Malfadok is the strength for woman. Tamrau and Malfadok are the true sacred place of the Moi tribe, which are believed to contain a magical power that cannot be passed by just anyone other than those who have special ability and power. It's like a head chief, something like that, or the elder. Many believe to be a sacred place at the center of the Moi civilization for the first time in the legend of the tribal civilization in Papua. These two places are guarded and respected by the Moi tribe until now. If there are outsiders who try to disrupt the place, the Moi tribe, they will angry and take action to expel the outsider. The Malamai customary rites are inherited by the indigenous of the Moi tribesmen, consisting of 12, 12 lots of Moi clump, including Moi clean, Moi sigali or Moi mare, Moi maya, Moi klasa, Moi muait, Moi seget, Moi Kalabara, Moi Madik, Moi Karon, Moi Moika, Moi Batan, or Moi Bat, and Moi Fiawat. The Moi tribe live on the coast, lowland, river mouth, and making life from catching fish, gathering sagu, and gardening are the main economic activity, while hunting is an alternative strategy of living. Malamoy, Moi tribal heritage land. Malamoy is derived from two syllables, Mala, which means mountain and broad plain, and the Moi, which means smooth or soft. These two syllables were born when the Moi tribe began to talk about their adat or iges or what's called in Indonesian land. Malmoy is a territory where the Moi tribe first lived, then developed and began migration to Manokwari is now is the capital of West Papua province and Teminabuan or Ayamaru and the Raja Ampat Island. They can see in the map. This is the yeah, there's the spread of the Moi tribe. Moi tribal costume. The Moi tribe has many customary secret that shall not be known to outsider in the sense of not being the Moi tribe, and even by the Moi tribe who are considered inappropriate to know. They call the secret of adat and sacred place thing that women should not know. Therefore, the Amoy ethnic group is divided into four types of structure that have exist since ancient time, or what is called the Stone Age, namely is traditional figure consisting of nadel or male, the alumni of indigenous education or Willy Willy, a group of men nadela categorized as nelagi or woman. The next is the poor nelagi group is a group consisting of Moi woman. Moi language is the language used by the resident in Kalabo in the Moi and part of the Moi language spoken in Southeast is dialect of the Moi language from the West Mainland. They use the same language, but it's the different dialect from other region to other region. The education of the Moi tribe is Moi tribe has its own education system. The Moi people was never uneducated. Of course, the lesson taught in Cambridge are very different what when students learn in formal school nowadays. However, the understanding Cambridge is definitely unwise because it is practical knowledge that the student can apply in direct life. Cambridge has excited for generation and generation long before the modern education system arrived in Papua. Kambik teach various knowledge to the student from leaderships, tribe, tradition, and also various skill like fishing and farming, just like in formal school. A student will get academic title when she graduate from Kambik. The lowest title is Unsulu, while the highest is Wariak or Sukmin. The length of the study period can last from 6 to 18 months. The teacher of Kambik is the mentor. I've graduated earlier from the Cambridge school, informal school. I don't know what they say in English, uh, but I will say in Indonesia is sistem adat dalam oleh tanah. The Moi believe that land is woman. Talking about lands mean is talking about woman. Land is considered a sort of life, like a mother who breastfeeds her child. Along with the development of the physiological era is now starting to fade in the Moi people. This customary system required Moi people who want to sell their land to call a Mue if they don't want to be cursed. Mue is like the elder or the older sister. On the other hand, if a woman wants to sell their inherited land, then she must call her brother, otherwise the spirit will enter their body and will get mad. It's just according the elderly from the Moi people. And the identity of the Moi people is their land, according the elderly. If we they say if we don't own our land in our customary territory, then we can't be called Moi people anymore. The traditional medicine system since ancient time, the Moi people have known various types of treatment to help people who are suffering from pain. They use rotten rope, bark leaf, hot acid, hot weight, hot water, anything else as healing tool. I'm here a story about when a Moi woman is pregnant, uh, they will be separated from their house and live in the middle of jungle or away from their village because it's to be safe from for the woman to get pregnant and lahirkan di tempat in the safe place from the village because the Moi people believe that the spirit will bless them. Okay, that's all from my explanation about the Moi tribe and Amish community and the Native American tribe. Thank you for watching. Yes, I hope I get a good grade. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.